that game nasty? It was, wasn't it? I mean, the cross-checking, the slashing, the punching of the face. It definitely had all of that. Aren't all of those things penalties? I mean, yeah, but no. So, like, did they just change the rules in the playoffs? No, dude, I'm sorry, guys. He's new to this. He hasn't seen playoff hockey before. Neither of you. The Toronto Marlies win 5-3 over the Albany Devils, and they take Game 2 series tied up. That's what a tie looks like, 1-1. That Bridgeport series, that wasn't really a series. 2 games in, this is a series. I don't just mean the series is tied, it's 1 game apiece. Both teams have looked incredibly strong at times and vulnerable at times. I mean, these teams hate each other. And if they don't, well, you could have fooled me. But we'll get to all of that. Let's start with the goals. Marlies had a great start in Game 1, but they got into penalty trouble, so they weren't able to get rewarded for it. This time, different. Just over halfway through the first period, Connor Carrick puts it on, because that is what Connor Carrick does. Stopped by Scott Wedgwood, but Ben Smith is there to put in the rebound. 1-0. And here's the neat thing about that goal, a very neat thing. A forward scored it! Even though some of the following names have been in and out of the lineup for various reasons, the Marlies have guys like William Nylander, Nikita Soshnikov, Connor Brown, Josh Levo, Mark Arcabello made the AHL look like a joke with his scoring pace, and the lion's share of the offense has come from guys like TJ Brennan and Connor Carrick. And they helped out on this one, Connor Carrick putting it on. Ben Smith doesn't need a pretty goal because the Marlies aren't trying to win pretty, they're trying to win, period. Which is going to be tough when you allow the Devils to tie it up a minute and 18 seconds later. Dan Kelly just putting it on. It passes Antoine Bibeau. That's a tie game. And I look at that and I go, Bibeau probably should have had that. Speaking of which, Bibeau in net for this one. He's going to have to be better than that. We'll see if he was. Less than 3 minutes later, the Devils put it on. Bibeau, big juicy rebound out for Nick Lappin, and he buries it. No help in front though. And I look at that and I go, that's a big rebound by Bibeau. And it's 2-1 Devils after 1. Well, who do we wag our finger at? I think it's fairly obvious. It's your goalie who allowed 2 goals in the first period on 15 shots when your team got outshot 15-9. The Devils were on top of the Marlies in the first. Bibeau's probably the reason it wasn't much worse. Go watch the highlights. He was fantastic. Second period, they need a break, and they get a very weird one. Marlies get a high sticking penalty. Who drew it on the Devils? That would be Joseph Blandisi. If you're like, who's that guy? I remember that name. Go ahead and YouTube Joseph Blandisi. Famous for being one of Scarborough's own, but also famous for a few other things. Now diving for Team New Jersey. So that leads to a 5-on-3. It's terrible. It's brutal. The Marlies allow tons of shots, and Bibeau is just stopping all of them. Bodies are flying everywhere. Sam Carrick blocking shots. Everyone's blocking shots. The Marlies kill it off. No harm, no foul. The weird bounce comes after they kill that penalty off. Blandisi spears Rich Clune. How dare you? And the Marlies did get a power play out of this. They did. But here's how the penalties worked out. Blandisi gets a double minor for spearing. How dare you? Good call, ref. And Rich Clune gets 2 minutes for embellishment. No, you're right. One more time for the people at the back. Blandisi gets a double minor for spearing. A double minor! And Rich Clune gets 2 minutes for diving. If you thought it was bad enough that you gave him... Let's just talk about the power play. Connor Carrick, again, how many times am I going to say this guy's name? Feeds TJ Brennan at the point. He floats it on, and it beats Scott Wedgwood. 2-2 tie. Getting the secondary assist on that was Mark Arcabello. He was excellent on that play, moving the puck around, and he's a guy on the Marlies. I was talking about the forwards. He's a guy who's got to be better. He obviously scored at a ridiculous pace in the regular season, but I've been at every Marlies home game so far these playoffs, and I'm watching him, and I'm like, where'd he go? I'm looking for him, and I miss him. He seemed to have it in this one. You saw the offensive flair. He was moving the puck around like it was nothing. It was beautiful. And now, we head to the third period. Victor Louvre has the puck. A Marlies defender has it at the point, and he puts it on. Stop me if you've heard this before. And Zach Hyman tips it in past Wedgwood. They retake the lead 3-2. Celebrate for less than 2 minutes. Matt Laredo gets it in front. No help for Bibeau again, and it's tied 3-3. But less than 3 minutes later, Connor Brown gets it to TJ Brennan, and the Marlies defender puts it on. Stop me if you've heard this before. Beats Wedgwood 4-3. And all of a sudden, okay, we're in the third period. Let's hold on to this one. Somebody, anybody, an insurance goal would be nice. And that is when Zach Hyman banging a goal from anywhere. Who cares if it's ugly? Zach Hyman. I haven't seen them all, but I gotta think this might have been the nicest goal of his professional hockey career. You gotta watch the highlights. You gotta link down below. Stop in the middle of the sentence I'm speaking. Pause and go watch his 5-3 goal like Super Mario wouldn't be denied. That's the Zach Hyman celebration. That's what he does. He puts the stick in his left hand and he goes, woo! Last minute flurry. The Devils are just hucking everything that might not have even even been pucks, baseballs, soccer balls, basketballs, anything to get past Antoine Bibeau, and he's just like, no. Or like, Antoine Bieb, no. You're sick nickname, sick. A Donnybrook at the end, everyone's fighting, everyone's just playoff hockey loving each other, and the Marlies tied the series. Can you all breathe now? Now, neither of these guys had huge games, but last game I got you all freaked out about Nikita Soshnikov, and more specifically, William Nylander, because they missed game 1. I wouldn't say they had great games. I certainly wouldn't say they had bad games either. William Nylander came out to talk to the media after the game, and I gotta ask him.
You back to 100%?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Thanks, Will. By the way, another reporter who was there, Mike in Buffalo, he's like, Nylander's going to be less than 90 seconds. I had him at 48. He's not rude, he's not brash, he's just get in and get out. This win was incredibly important. Every playoff win is incredibly important, but here's how the round 2 works. The round 2, we're going to go with it. Here's how round 2 works. Marlies play 2 in Toronto. Then it's 3 in Albany. Then, if necessary, games 6 and 7 are back in Toronto. If the Marlies go into Albany for 3 straight games, down 2-0, they're dead. The way they clog up the middle of the ice is infuriating. The way they block all your passes is infuriating. Scott Wedgwood back there, infuriating. How did the Marlies score 5 goals on him? And the scariest part, despite the win, the Marlies might not come back to Toronto this year. Albany wins 3 straight. There you go, they win it in 5. Of course, the Marlies could win 3 straight, and then we'll see you in round 3. But if neither team wins 3 straight, someone's coming back to Toronto with the series lead. Who's it going to be? And a lot of people were tweeting at me and asking me, how can I watch the game? The next 3 games will be on Leafs TV, so you can check them out there. And you can just see what a nasty, brutal series this is. You know who really impressed me on that side? Connor Carrick. Not the biggest guy by any stretch of the imagination, but oh, the stick work in this one, just brutal, nasty. And you can't even hate on him for it, because half the time he was the guy who started it, and half the time he was retaliating. It's the playoffs. Question of the game for those who have watched, who has impressed you the most so far? And if you're gonna say Connor Carrick, say my answer is Connor Carrick. But second is, because it's easy to say Connor Carrick, because did you know he's leading the American Hockey League in scoring? Yeah, 10 points in 5 games. He's a defender. Last but not least, Dangle Navy. I met a bunch of you at first intermission, and that was great, and we were all a family, and we hugged and we took pictures. But some of you were saying, let's have a proper meetup. So I said, all right, second intermission, let's meet under the Canadian flag. And there were straight up like 40, 50 of you. I felt mobbed and awkward, and I didn't know what to say. Like, thank you for coming up and saying hi. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for everything, because without you, well, I'm just kind of screaming in a room. Oh, now I'm thinking about it. So that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. There's some clickety-clack things around here if you want to watch the rest of my Marlies reactions, or I'm sure you could check out the LFRs from this past season. Check out the Marlies highlights, and check out Game 3. Almost at 5. I'm getting really ahead of myself. Playoffs!